Hey guys, Sundown Rider here. This is going to be my review to Nanatsu no Taizai 240, the foundation for the future. Now, if you've come here from my previous channel, you know exactly what's going to go down, you know who I am, and you know what I'm going to do. If you're new to this channel, as it is a new channel, then welcome. I'm going to be doing, my name is Mosen Saki, I'm going to be doing reviews for Nanatsu no Taizai, One Piece, I can't say Naruto and Bleach, I do One Punch Man, and I do Boku no Hero Academia at this moment in time. So yeah, if you like reviews for channels, if you want to promote discussion like I do, then jump onto my channel, subscribe, and all that good stuff, and you'll get about 3-4 of these videos per week, depending on when One Punch Man comes out. But for now, it's going to be Nanatsu no Taizai 240, the foundation for the future. So let's get straight into it. As soon as I saw the cover page, I was shook. Now the rest of you who've seen my previous videos know that last chapter I wasn't entirely happy. They could have killed off Chandler, and I was like, yo, okay, this guy, we know exactly kind of who he is, and I didn't want to see him get killed off so quick. He's just come into the story. So I think they shouldn't really have killed off Chandler. And I was like, they can't really, right? They can't kill off Chandler. So as soon as I saw the cover page, I was like, yo, shit, he's got a freaking gaping hole in this guy. We'll come back onto that later, but I want to talk about first King. Now, I really liked how we finally get to see the initial meeting between King and Meliodas. You know, Meliodas seems to have really struck a chord with King, calling him a splendid king, even though King saw himself as a horrible ruler, you know, allowing his sister to die, allowing his nation to basically die, and then forgetting the promise he made with Diane. Of course, we know that Meliodas himself has had experience with kings, being the son of the Demon King and having come into contact with at least once with the supreme deity. So it shows why someone also like King would be okay serving beneath Meliodas, you know, because of the kind words that Meliodas dealt him right then and there. He was like, I wouldn't mind being this guy's buddy, you know, I wouldn't mind serving beneath this guy, because just the charisma that Meliodas shows at that time. So I really liked how and why King at any point decided that Meliodas would be a nice guy, you know. It's because Meliodas showed him a little bit of care when he was at his lowest point. And we also see that, we knew this I think originally, but King does take the blame for what Hellbrand was doing for those 500 years, I think it was, where he was just going around slaying a bunch of different humans. He was just going around from town to town killing everyone. So we see that King does actually take the blame for that, and Meliodas knows it's not him. He's like, yo bro, why are you taking the blame for this guy? I also liked how King was getting the celebrity treatment this chapter. You know, Ban and Diana hyping him up. They're like, hey, you know, he's the MVP of last chapter. And his nosebleed at Mini Diane was hilarious. I was like, yo, this guy, you know, because Diane's essentially naked. I think she is actually naked. But the best part of the chapter for me and for King in that regard is his character progression this chapter. It was excellent. The way he progressed in terms of a character and in terms of his depth was amazing. Through his tears, he's telling the Sins to leave, as none of them are basically strong enough to help him, and he won't have Diane die in front of him. That's the major part. He won't have Diane die while he's there, and he won't have his friends die. Now this is progression in terms of King, because he's I think in the chapters we've seen since the beginning, he only ever really cares for one person at a time. You know, I won't let Elaine die, I won't let this person die, and then I won't let Ban die, I won't let Diane die. But this time he's protecting Diane and the rest of the Sins. He's like, alright, I gotta take responsibility here, because I'm the current strongest person out of the Sins. Escanor's out, Merlin's out, Gauther's out, Ban is currently we'll come back to that as well. Meliodas is out, and I think that's the majority of the guys we need to know about at this moment in time. So most of them, the strongest Sins are out anyway, so he's got to take control of the situation. He is the king. So I really liked what we got to see of him this chapter. It was awesome. Ban, my boy, gets spit roasted this chapter. Once again, he's getting trolled by Nakaba all the way through. Like these last 4 or 5 chapters, he's been getting roasted left, right, and center. So I'm hoping that Nakaba's like really riling up his audience. He knows that, you know, Ban, I think Ban might be a fan favorite, so I'm hoping that he knows that roasting Ban like that is riling up the crowd, and then Ban's gonna get like a huge overhaul. He's gonna get a massive power up when he finds Kura shoes. I think all he might need is Kura shoes, because if he gets Kura shoes, using King's example when he pulls the water out of the lake and he's like, this is what we are without our sacred treasures, and then the lake is what we are with our sacred treasures. I think Ban would just go apeshit once he found Kura's shoes. He'd probably be able to use his was it Hunter Fest, when he absorbs the energies of people, well, the physical prowess or the physical strength of anybody within like 100-yard radius. I think he'll be able to like max that out completely. Like he'll be able to go on friggin' just juice people completely. Like beforehand, his max was he drained Gaddon of his strength, Gaddon the Truth, one of the 10 Commandments, but that was his max. He was really fatigued after that. So I'm thinking maybe he'll be able to like he'll be able to absorb more than one commandment as his max, and his fatigue won't be so severe. So I really want Ban to get his power up. But yeah, Ban gets spit roasted, but King hesitates before actually saying it. He knows what he's saying about Ban is true, as in you're only going to slow me down, but he hesitates when he does it, and I think Ban knows that he's weak as well. Ban definitely knows because he was talking to Elaine about it, but King didn't really want to say it. He didn't want to really roast his boy like that, you know. And then King does say, actually in this chapter, he goes, I want to spend my final moments dying a king's death. I was like, yo, I was really hyped when he said that. That part was awesome for me. And it really ties in with the nature of what a true king should be, or at least in the medieval times, leading the charge, fighting on the front lines, and protecting his people. That's what a king should be. So I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed King's progression through this chapter. The next guy we're going to come on to, though, is Chandler. I hoped last chapter that he hadn't been KO'd, and Nakaba delivered this chapter. He was like, nah, this ain't fairy tale, boys. So Chandler's demon mark, or demonic mark, spreads across his face, and it actually appears across his forearms, around his shoulders, maybe down his back, and it's across his wings. We'll come on to that in a bit as well. But his true power manifests along with his demon mark. Like old man Master Roshi, if you watch Dragon Ball Z, he becomes this hulking figure, and his wound, the gaping hole in his chest, just shuts down and closes up. I was like, yo, shit. And we know that demons can hack a whole ton load of damage. We've seen Gaddon get cut in two by Escanor, no less than Escanor, you know. And he comes back. He manages to combine himself back together within a few seconds. So the fact that Chandler does this isn't exactly an ass pull. We've seen the demons do this over and over. We've seen Meliodas reattach his arm, reattach his torso to his legs, everything. We've seen a whole bunch of demons do this, so it's not an ass pull. But Chandler does actually he grows wings. His hair blackens to friggin' match his soul. He looks like he's gotten younger, which is what Master Roshi kind of always looks like he's going for, but he does actually look, Chandler, like he's gotten younger, and he's gotten crazy. Chandler has a freaking sword cane, so he pulls out a sword from the cane that he has, and that cane must be like some sort of dimensional, it must have some sort of like dimensional portal or something in it, because the sword is freaking huge. It's essentially a long, thin katana, and he pulls it out, and it's massive. They showed this. It had to take a double spread to truly draw the entire length of the katana, and it's about 10 times the length of Chandler, maybe more than that. So it's got to be at least like 15 meters long. That's insanely long. And essentially, this chapter shows that Chandler has become insanely powerful. He tanks King's Bumblebee attack like it was nothing, and he actually breaks Chastiophol. I was like, yo, okay, I think we might have seen that before. Chastiophol, I think, has been broken before. I'm not too sure when, but I recall something. And I assume it'll just recover alongside King over a few hours or days. You know, it's not like a Bankai where if that breaks, you're basically fucked unless you go to that black dude. So yeah, that was the two main characters I wanted to talk about were Chandler and King. And once again, King was kind of like MVP, but the two MVPs come actually at the end of the chapter, and I was really hyped for that. So I really enjoyed actually the development of everyone figuring out that shit was about to go down this chapter as well. Those few pages of progression where they were like, actually something is not right. So Diane was still miniature, and they were like, okay, why is she still miniature if Chandler's dead? The sky was still shrouded in darkness. Another thing which should have tipped him off a little bit earlier, like maybe we're not free yet. Galtha gets destroyed, and at this point they're starting to shit themselves. They're like, oh, fuck. You know, the cursed seal stated that if Galtha fought back, he would get destroyed. So I was like, yo, okay, we know what's gonna happen now. We know what's happening. So the cursed seal remains, for starters. That's another sign. Hawk notices that. He's like, yo, shit, the cursed seal's still on his hand. And I love the fact that Hawk didn't actually get rid of the cursed seal. I think he got rid of it momentarily, but it came back. It's not one of those things. It's not just like an inky drawing on his hands. It's an actual freaking seal. He has to get rid of it. The Twitch of Life. Chandler's still twitching a little bit. He's still alive. And then the suspiciously calm interaction between Zeldris and Cusack. I was like, yo, okay, if they're that calm about it, Chandler's not out. And then they talk, especially with Zeldris saying at the end, this guy's going to go apeshit. I was like, yo, okay, so this is going to be crazy. But I do wonder what this means now, having mentioned it, what this means for Galtha. Elizabeth couldn't heal him, but is that because he's dead? Is it because he's a doll? I think it's more because he's a doll. Will she be able to heal him once the seal is broken? I hope so, because if Galtha's out just like that, that's going to be a bit of an issue. Will he revert to normal anyway once maybe Chandler does one or something like that, or once he retrieves Meliodas, will he just break the seal, and is there like a distance the seal doesn't work over, and then Galtha will be okay again? It really looks like a job for Merlin, but Merlin's currently out of commission because of her magic being sealed. So, you know, her whole thing is being an awesome mage, and she's kind of out of commission for that. I really enjoyed also the interaction between Cusack and Zeldris. Cusack being Salt Bae with the friggin' milk. I was like, what the hell? What's this guy doing? So that was funny. And Zeldris' reaction also, and roasting Cusack over his tea making ability. He's like, yo, what the man? This ain't no tea. I was like, yo. So Zeldris roasting him and Cusack being basically tea Bae was friggin'. I found that part really, really funny. And the thing to notice though, and what I noticed, what I took from it, was how much calmer Zeldris has become with the appearance of Cusack and Chandler. You know, he was really uptight, really, almost up. He was really strung up. Strung up, is that the word? He was really tight. When before Cusack and Chandler came along, you know, he knew he would have to do something about it. He knew he'd have to go after the Sins, and he was actually up to going for the out against the Sins himself. But he does seem to be a little calmer. My man's sitting down drinking tea, just chilling with Cusack. So what I'm trying to show is that he seems to have at least a whole lot of trust in the two demons, Cusack and Chandler. And you know, Chandler's title in and of itself shows exactly how powerful the guy is, but we don't know much about Cusack yet, and I want to know more about Cusack. Also, make note of the fact that Cusack does say this chapter that Chandler's strength is still incomplete. Also, his own strength would still therefore be incomplete. So these guys are like, Chandler's about to get rid of Glocks and Dolo and the Sins, almost maybe, if Glocks and Dolo fail. And he's not even at complete strength yet. He's not even at full power. It's not his final form. So then we come to the end of the chapter, which was insanely hype for me. I don't know why. I just really like the appearance of Glocks and Dolo. They know they aren't powerful enough to stop Chandler, and their introduction to this chapter said it all. Death flags all over the freaking place. But for Meliodas and Elizabeth and for the rest of the guys, they're willing to lay down their lives. You know, that's what they're saying. And when Glocks looks at Dolo and he's like, let's go, Aibo, let's go, partner. I was like, yo, this guy knows he's going to die. And so does Dolo. They know that this is the end of them, but they're willing to lay their lives down for the future. And that's where the chapter gets its name from, the Foundations for the Future or something like that. So I know that they're not going to defeat Chandler, but I want to see them kind of live up to their reputations as the forefathers of both of their nations. You know, I want King to see what a king does, you know, and King's been becoming more kingly as he goes on, but I want him to see Gloxinia kick some ass, and I wanted Diane to see more of Dolor as well, but the Sins are really going to have to do one as the two forefathers of their nations are going to fight, because that's the reason they're fighting. They're not going to want them to sit around watching them. So I really want them to live up to their reputations, but I also really enjoy when a tag team pulls off a tag team well, like when Ace and Luffy briefly kicked some ass at Marineford. That was awesome. That was really, really awesome to see, and I want to see Glocks and Dolo do a bit of that. We've seen them fight before together when they were against Meliodas, but that was a different situation, and I'm not sure whether they were actually going in on Meliodas, you know, and I'm not sure what Meliodas was doing too much as well. Was he actually trying to kill them? So yeah, that's basically the chapter. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Like, comment, subscribe. I really want Glocks and Dolo to kick some ass next chapter. So let me know what you guys think. This has been a long review, but it's also been my first review for this channel. And that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in a bit.